Today's business English demo lesson is all about customer service. We're going to do a warm up and we're also going to talk about polite ways to complain. That way you have an idea of what to expect when you're on the phone, how someone might be complaining in case it's not clear to you. We're also going to talk about how you can handle complaints, and we're going to talk about how you can use promising actions, how to address complaints so you can resolve them. And we're also going to do a role play example. So if that's something you're interested in, stay tuned to find out more. Hey, I'm Michael with Michael's Business English. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Michael Rincon, a former six-figure data analyst turned ESL instructor and career coach. I help non-native English speakers like you with your work life and career increase your value. If you're new here, on this channel we talk about communications, business English, and career development. So if that's something you're into, make sure you like and subscribe, and all the links mentioned in this video can be found in the description box below. Alright, so today's business English lesson is about customer service. We're going to talk about how to use vocabulary around customer service to express complaints, polite ways to complain, to request assistance, and use the first conditional to make threats. We're also going to introduce the use of customer service collocations such as gather information, accept an apology, and we're going to introduce the use of common customer service phrasal verbs such as look into and work out. Alright guys, let's begin. Alright, so an introduction to customer service. Customer service is service provided to customers before, during, and after a purchase. No, customer service can be provided by pretty much any person or an automated system. This is an important thing to appreciate. So customer service can be expected, typically it's expected by sales or service representatives, but it's important for everyone to be aware of customer service because you never know when you're going to be pulled into that. So let me ask you this. When you think of good customer service, what companies come to mind and why? What do they do? What kind of things to have? What kind of actions do they take? Now remember, this is a warm-up. The goal is to get you kind of thinking and start speaking so that you can start participating, so you can start warming up, preparing yourself for the actual exercises. All right, so here are some polite ways to complain. And the reason that I want to go over this with you is because I want to show you what are some ways customers might be complaining that you may not be aware about. This is important because sometimes you think things are going okay, and this is actually a customer saying they're not happy with it. So here are some examples to be aware of. There seems to be a problem with. I was expecting X, but I'm sorry, but I'm not satisfied with. Unfortunately, there's a problem with, and so on and so forth, right? You get the point? Is that there can be plenty of ways that someone complains, although they're doing it in a polite way. They might not make sense for you depending on where you're from, because some cultures are much more indirect versus this other cultures are much more direct. And because of that discrepancy, you may not be aware that someone's actually complaining. You may not understand why they're complaining, but this is what we consider to be polite ways to complain in America. Okay, so here are some ways to handle complaints. If someone calls in and says they have a problem, here's one expression you can use is, we're sorry that you have had a problem with this product. You can also use service or something else. Like you had a problem with the website. You had a problem. We're sorry that you had a problem with using our ATM. We're sorry you had a problem with our customer representative if you're calling about someone's complaining about someone in store. I understand you're upset, sir. I understand you're upset, ma'am, depending on the connotation. I'm afraid it's not our policy to, right? This means like they might be asking something and your policy says you can't do that. Your guidelines say you can't do that. They might be asking for a refund and your company policy says no refunds for some reason, right? Like without certain requirements, just hypotheticals. Sorry, but unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it. Okay, so let's practice some customer service collocations. I'd like you to match the beginning of the collocation with its end. So you have gather, a problem, gather an apology, gather a refund, gather a complaint, or gather information. Which one do you think it is? Right? So, are you familiar with collocations? I'm going to answer these for you. So, gather actually goes with information. We're going to gather information, meaning we are going to find out. We're going to start looking into, we're going to research what is going on. We're going to learn more about the problem. We're going to see what happens. If a customer calls in about emails being sent in, you might say, I'm going to gather information about that, which means you're going to go and find those emails. You're going to gather that data. How about accept? Is it accept a problem, accept an apology, accept a refund, or is it accept a complaint? So in this case, you typically use accept an apology, meaning like, please accept an apology. Please accept an apology for our company. Please accept an apology for everyone on our team. Please accept my apology. How about resolve? So resolve can be resolve a problem, resolve can be resolve a refund, or resolve a complaint. So typically, we say resolve a problem. You can actually use resolve a complaint, but typically it's resolve a problem, like meaning we're going to resolve. What does solve mean, right? Solve means to take care of, means to end, to get rid of. So we're going to solve a problem. Resolve is another way of saying solve. So request a refund or request a complaint, right? Like, pretty clear that's request a refund. All right, we're gonna request means asking for a refund. You're asking for something. You're asking for a refund. And deal with means to address. Like, so deal with a complaint is what we're going to do here. And deal with, what does deal with mean? Well, deal means to handle something, means to work on something, to address something. So here are some more collocations I want you to go through. Now you have vent. Now you can vent to quality, vent standards, vent one's frustrations, vent an explanation, and vent compensation. Which one do you think it is? Okay, so let's talk about ways to promise action, ways you're going to help the customer out. These are the ways you can respond to a problem. I will look into it right away. Right, so do you remember what look into means? If you're not sure, why don't you take a stab at it? Tell me what you think it means, right? So I'll check the details and get back to you as soon as possible. We will take care of it before next week. We'll do our best to straighten it out. We'll figure out a way to make everything work out. Do you know what these words mean? Do you understand? Can you derive meaning from the context? Or can you derive meaning from the vocabulary being used? So what do you think look into means? Right? So if you don't know what it means on its own, you don't know the definition, well, you can derive meaning either by looking at the word separately, look into. You can derive meaning by looking at the context. And so, I will look into it. Right? So, I will look into it. Do you know what those words means? I will look means I will go find something. I will go check it out. I will go see. Because look means all those meanings, right? Into, now what does that mean? Right? So into typically means you're gonna go do something. It means you're gonna go into something. You are gonna go move towards something, right? That has different meanings. But in this case, you can probably figure out that look into means that you are going to find or search or research or see something to resolve an issue. Minutes to go. So let's do some role playing. I want you to look at this example with me. You are a sales clerk at a local clothing store. The store accepts all returns without the receipt of purchase. Today, a woman has come to the store to return a dress that was obviously worn. She claims that she hasn't worn the dress. The dress looks like it has been used, so the store won't be able to resell it. How should you handle the situation as a sales clerk, right? As a representative, a frontline cashier, like different titles you might have, right? So, so what I want you to do is I'm going to come in and present myself. I'm going to over this call. I'm going to act as if I'm the customer. I want you to be the sales clerk. We're going to role play this out. Now remember the data here, right? So it's a local clothing store. Sales clerk, this is you. You accept all returns without the receipt of purchase, right? And we can keep going. You're returning a dress. That's me. I'm returning the dress. That's obviously worn. I claim I haven't worn the dress. You can't resell it. So let's role play this out now. I can't actually do a role play because this is a recording of me showing you the lesson. But if this was an actual lesson, this would be a role play example. We would actually get to practice this out. Okay, let's talk about the homework now. So as a reminder, if you enroll in lessons with Michael's Business English, you get access to homework that accompanies the lesson that you can do online on any mobile device, including your phone or your tablet. So let's go over this real quick. Read each question and select the best answer based on the choices provided, right? So question 1, which of the following is not a polite way to ask for more assistance? I need to speak to your boss now. May I speak with your supervisor? Is there somebody else I could speak with about this? Would I be able to speak with your manager? Which of these is not a polite way, right? So do your best. If you're not sure, feel free to go on Google and research what these phrases mean and see what people come up with. Because remember, your mind learns through repetition. You will learn and improve your communication skills faster through practice and by more exposure. Which of the following is not a correct use of the first conditional to make a threat, right? So this is an interesting one. We didn't cover this in the demo lesson, so I'll skip that one. How about this one? Which of the following multi-word verbs means to investigate something? Is it to look into something? Is it to get back to SB? I wonder what SB stands for. Work out. So let's see. This is interesting. Now, this is an interesting situation because they abbreviated this, and I don't know what that means. So, let's see. Get back to somebody. That's what I assume it means. And I got that meaning, which is funny because I'm a native English speaker. I should know this. But I want to point out to you, like, remember that even native English speakers will sometimes come up with their own acronyms or without any reading. Like, if I go look up SB right now, let me show you. SB. I'm probably not going to figure it out that it says... You can see, like, it says it's short for snapback. Oh, sorry. It's short for snapback, right? It's crazy. It's weird. That is not, and this is like, I'm going to step, it's not the correct meaning. So that's interesting that they would come up with that as a meaning, as a short acronym. But that's just one I want to point out to you. Like, feel free to try. That's why sometimes you can't find the meaning. And so we have to derive meaning with what we have. Right? So the customer blank compensation after her flight was canceled. Was it demanded, vented, insured, or guaranteed? Right? The customer service manager blank information about the customer's complaint. Gathered, vented, accepted, or resolved. Which one do you think it is? If you're not sure, remember to go Google. So here we go. Now we got to write these questions in full sentences. Write about the last time you complained about a product or service. Include vocabulary about the lesson. Now, if you didn't officially complain, then write about the last time that you were upset. Or if you did have that, like, talk about a time a customer called in. Look at this one last question. You recently took a vacation on a cruise ship and your family had an unpleasant experience. The food was bad, the ship was old, and the staff was unfriendly. Write a polite complaint letter to the CEO of the cruise company. Now, this is an interesting exercise, and the goal of this is to, one, again, improve your English, of course, improve your writing, but two, to cultivate empathy, right? So if you know what customers are upset over, it's going to be easier for you to address their concerns and to sympathize with them and to better resolve their issues. So when you're on the phone with them and they're complaining, you'll remember the slides. We talked about polite ways to address it. Like, I'm sorry that happened to you, sir, right? So you'll have a better ways of understanding whether this is something they're upset about, or is this a common thing, or is this an issue, or if this is a true complaint. Because sometimes they're too polite for their own good, and they're really upset, but they don't want to come off as upset. All right, I hope you enjoyed this demo lesson. Let me know if you have any questions. Make sure you check out the comments below on more information about how you can enroll in lessons with Michael's Business English. All right, thank you. Talk soon.